Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling a question that's, well, honestly, it's both exciting and a little bit daunting. Is artificial intelligence about to launch us into a technological golden age?
Oh,
Or are we teetering on the edge of a dangerous tipping point?
right.
And to help us figure this out, we've got a whole stack of sources here.
Yeah.
We've got academic papers, we've got briefing documents, we even found a study guide for, AI 101.
Nice.
Really trying to get a broad perspective here. And one thing that jumps out right away from all this material is just the sheer speed of AI development.
Yeah, that's right.
It's really incredible.
One of the sources uses this really fascinating analogy,
Yeah.
comparing AI's progress to the famous Moore's Law,
Oh, yeah.
which states that the processing power of computers doubles roughly every 2 years.
Right.
They argue that AI is actually moving faster than that,
Wow.
which is both exhilarating and a little bit scary.
Yeah, I can see that. So, okay, I want to try something here. I want you to imagine your life a year from now.
Okay, a year from now.
How might AI be woven into your day-to-day? Maybe you're using an AI-powered assistant to manage your schedule and sift through all those emails.
Yeah.
Or perhaps your commute involves a self-driving car.
Exactly. The sources really paint this picture of a world where AI is deeply integrated into almost every aspect of life.
It's really hard to even imagine.
Yeah.
And then this brings us back to those two kind of contrasting ideas, right? We've got the golden age and we've got the tipping point.
Right.
So on the one hand, you've got the potential for incredible benefits.
Yeah, think about medical breakthroughs, personalized education, maybe even solutions to climate change that we can't even imagine yet.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But then there's the flip side. What about the potential for job displacement as AI takes over tasks traditionally done by humans?
Yeah.
And what if these super intelligent systems start making decisions that we don't understand or agree with?
Right.
That's where the tipping point idea comes in, right?
That's a key concern highlighted in a lot of the sources, actually.
Yeah.
One of the briefing documents specifically points to the development of autonomous weapon systems as a potential tipping point.
Oh, wow.
If we're not careful, we could end up in a situation where machines are making life or death decisions without human oversight.
That's definitely a sobering thought. And it kind of makes me wonder, is there a way to harness the power of AI for good while also mitigating these potential risks?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how the sources grapple with this challenge.
Yeah.
They emphasize that simply halting AI development isn't realistic or even desirable.
Yeah.
The potential benefits are too great.
So what's the alternative? Do we just cross our fingers and hope for the best?
Not exactly. One of the academic papers uses the term responsible AI,
Okay.
which essentially means developing AI systems with safeguards and ethical considerations baked in from the start.
So it's not just about building smarter machines, but about building machines that align with our values and goals as a society.
Exactly. And that's where things get even more complex.
Oh, how so?
Whose values are we talking about?
Yeah.
How do we ensure that these systems benefit everyone, not just a select few?
Right, because there's a real danger of bias creeping in, especially if the people developing these systems don't represent a diverse range of perspectives and backgrounds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's something the sources really emphasize, the need for inclusivity and diversity in the field of AI.
So we're talking about a massive societal shift, not just a technological one.
Yeah.
And it sounds like there's a lot of uncertainty about how it's all going to play out. One phrase that really stuck with me from the study guide was in ways we can barely predict.
That's the crux of it. We're dealing with a technology that's evolving so rapidly that it's hard to anticipate all the potential consequences, both positive and negative.
Right.
There's a lot to unpack.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. It almost feels like we're standing on the launch pad waiting for the countdown to this AI-powered future. But if we don't know exactly where it's taking us, how do we even begin to prepare?
That's where I think this whole idea of critical engagement becomes so important. The sources aren't just warning about potential dangers.
Right.
They're also calling for a more informed and active public.
So instead of being passive consumers of whatever AI throws our way, we need to become more discerning, more questioning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about it this way. We don't just blindly accept any new technology that comes along, do we?
Right.
We weigh the pros and cons. We consider the potential impact on our lives.
Yeah.
We make choices. AI should be no different.
Absolutely. One of the briefing documents actually used a phrase that I really resonated with, AI literacy.
I love that.
It's like we need to equip ourselves with the knowledge and skills to navigate this new landscape.
I love that analogy. It's not just about understanding how the technology works.
Right.
It's about understanding its implications, its potential biases, and how it might be used to manipulate or exploit.
So it's like being a savvy media consumer, but on a whole new level.
Yep.
We need to be able to critically assess the information that AI systems are feeding us and make informed decisions about how we interact with them.
That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
And it's not just about individual responsibility either.
Right.
The sources also highlight the need for strong regulations and ethical guidelines to steer AI development in a positive direction.
Right, because we can't just rely on tech companies to self-regulate.
Exactly.
There needs to be some kind of framework to ensure that AI is developed and deployed in a way that benefits society as a whole.
Absolutely. One of the academic papers talks about the need for a global AI ethics council,
Okay.
a body that could establish international standards and guidelines for the responsible development and use of AI.
That sounds like a pretty ambitious undertaking.
It does.
But I guess it's a reflection of just how high the stakes are. We're talking about a technology that has the potential to reshape the world as we know it.
Exactly. And the choices we make now will determine whether this reshaping leads to a more just and equitable world or one that exacerbates existing inequalities.
Yeah, that brings us back to the idea of uncertainty. We're still very much in the early stages of this AI revolution, and it's hard to predict exactly where it will take us.
Yeah, one thing that struck me from reading through all these sources
Yeah.
is how many of them emphasize the importance of adaptability.
Oh, interesting.
We need to be prepared for a future where the nature of work, the skills that are valued, even the way we interact with each other, could be radically different from what we're used to.
So it's not just about learning specific skills.
Right.
It's about cultivating a mindset that embraces lifelong learning and the ability to adapt to change.
Precisely. And it's also about being willing to engage in these difficult conversations, to question assumptions, and to work together to shape a future where AI serves humanity rather than the other way around.
I know we touched on this a little bit earlier, but I think it's worth digging a little deeper into the potential impact of AI on work.
Yeah.
It seems like this is one of the areas where there's the most anxiety and uncertainty.
It's understandable. The sources offer a nuanced perspective on this issue. On the one hand, they acknowledge that AI will likely lead to significant job displacement in certain sectors.
Okay.
Tasks that are repetitive or easily automated are particularly vulnerable.
So what happens to those workers? Are they simply out of luck?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
The sources also point to the potential for AI to create new jobs and industries that we can't even imagine yet.
Oh, okay.
Think about the early days of the internet.
Right.
No one could have predicted the rise of social media managers, app developers, or YouTube influencers.
Yeah, that's a good point. So there's a sense that while some jobs will inevitably disappear, others will emerge to take their place.
Exactly. And this is where that idea of adaptability comes in again. Workers will need to be willing to reskill and upskill to stay relevant in the job market.
The study guide actually uses the term augmented workforce, suggesting that the future of work may not be about humans versus machines,
Right.
but rather about humans and machines working together.
I think that's a powerful concept. AI has the potential to enhance human capabilities, not just replace them.
I like that.
Think about doctors using AI-powered diagnostic tools to make more accurate diagnoses, or architects using AI algorithms to design more sustainable buildings.
So it's not about being afraid of being replaced by robots.
Right.
It's about finding ways to leverage AI as a tool to enhance our own ability.
Precisely. And it's about recognizing that the skills that will be most valued in the future are those that are uniquely human. Things like creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and the ability to collaborate effectively.
Those are some good ones.
Yeah.
One of the briefing documents even suggests that AI could free us from mundane and repetitive tasks, giving us more time and energy to focus on things that are truly meaningful and fulfilling.
That's an intriguing possibility. Imagine a world where AI handles the drudgery, allowing us to pursue our passions, connect with others on a deeper level, and contribute to society in more meaningful ways.
It sounds almost utopian.
It does.
But I guess the question is, how do we get from where we are now to that kind of future? What are the concrete steps we can take?
That's a question we'll delve into further in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we're back. And, it feels like we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
but I'm still left with this kind of nagging question.
Okay.
What can we actually do, like, on a practical level to prepare for this AI-powered future?
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the big picture discussions
Right.
about ethics and regulation and all that.
Yeah.
But on a personal level, how do we navigate this kind of uncharted territory?
That's a great question. And I think the sources actually offer some pretty practical guidance on this. Remember that phrase AI literacy we talked about earlier?
Uh-huh.
That's where it all starts.
So what does it actually mean to be AI literate in a practical sense? Does everyone need to become a programmer or a data scientist?
Not necessarily. It's more about developing this kind of foundational understanding of how AI works its capabilities, its limitations, and how it's being used in different contexts. Think of it like learning a new language.
Okay.
You don't need to be a linguist to have a basic conversation.
Right. Okay, so where do we even begin? Are there specific resources or tools that you would recommend for someone who wants to boost their AI literacy?
Absolutely. Several of the sources actually point to online courses and resources that are designed for a general audience. There are platforms like Coursera and edX that offer introductory courses on AI concepts, machine learning, even the ethical implications of AI.
That's a great starting point. But beyond just understanding the technical side,
Yeah.
I think there's also this important element of critical thinking that we've touched on throughout this whole deep dive.
Exactly. As AI becomes more integrated into our lives, it's crucial to develop the ability to question the information we're being presented with, to recognize potential biases, and to make informed decisions about how we interact with these systems.
One of the sources used a phrase that I found really helpful, algorithmic awareness.
Ooh, I like that.
It's like we need to be aware that algorithms are increasingly shaping the information we see, the products we buy, even the people we connect with.
And that awareness empowers us to make more conscious choices.
Okay.
We can choose to diversify our sources of information, to be more critical of the recommendations we're given, and to actively seek out different perspectives.
It's like we need to become more discerning consumers of information in this AI-driven world.
That's a great way to put it. And I think it also extends to our interactions with AI-powered tools and services.
Oh, okay.
We need to be mindful of the data we're sharing, the permissions we're granting, and the potential impact of our choices.
So it's not just about being passive recipients of AI, it's about being active participants in shaping how it's developed and used.
Exactly. And that participation can take many forms.
Okay.
It could be as simple as providing feedback to companies about their AI products or services, or as involved as advocating for policies that promote responsible AI development.
One of the briefing documents even suggested that we can all play a role in democratizing AI by supporting initiatives that make AI education and resources more accessible to everyone.
I love that idea. AI shouldn't be the exclusive domain of tech giants and elite universities.
Right.
We need to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to understand and shape this technology that will undoubtedly have a profound impact on all of our lives.
It's a call to action, isn't it? This deep dive has been both fascinating and a little bit overwhelming.
It is a lot.
But I think the key takeaway is that the future of AI is not predetermined. It's something we're all creating together through our choices, our actions, and our willingness to engage in these critical conversations.
Beautifully put. And if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to keep exploring. Dive into those online courses, read articles and books, attend webinars, connect with others who are passionate about AI. The more informed and engaged we are, the better equipped we'll be to navigate this exciting and uncertain future.
Well said. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.